Hi there, traders. This is Brad with the daily rundown for the 22nd of May. Now, just as we come into the Asian session, I just haven't adjusted the trend lines at this stage. Just want to show you what can happen on Mondays. And it's a little bit convoluted. Yesterday we had, first thing Monday over the weekend, we had the China, US agreeing to sort of cancel all tariffs. They've come to some sort of agreement where they can start building some sort of structure around their trade. Now, you would have thought that would have been strong for Aussie and Kiwi, but at the time, there wasn't much movement at all. And the other part of it was if we look at the Kiwi, there was also those Kiwi retail sales figures which came out up here a little bit worse than expected. We saw the Kiwi dribble around down towards 68.80. Now, once the market reconnects over the weekend, right, you're sort of looking at the Asian session as one sort of microcosm, I guess, of that market. You come into the European session, and then this event, the US trade China thing, is really a US situation. So you really need that market to open up. And it's just a bit of a wake-up call for some of those markets, especially on the weekends where you go through the markets and it's over, through the whole Asian session, even into the early European, there's not a hell of a lot of activity. And then the market that this announcement is associated with, they interpret it somewhat differently, and we have seen the currencies move. So if you're looking at the price activity here in the Aussie, a little bit convoluted around that trend line, and then once there's more hype around the media around the China-US trade situation, obviously it's going to be good for Australia and New Zealand. That's where those two pairs have really kicked in. Kiwi found a lot of selling up around here in the 2030s, but managed to get through that by the end of the North American session. And another thing here too, like you can just see Euro, the price action here on Mondays once again, just to highlight how tricky Mondays can be. Euro just tweaking up above 117.80, back down to 40. Now that's going to get a lot of traders, either the break traders or the range traders. Everyone gets caught up in that price action. We did see a bit of a clean out here on sterling down through 134.5. I actually thought sterling would actually mimic these other majors and we'd probably see it higher, but it's actually managed to stay below that line. That 134 sort of 50 level should come in as a key pivot line now. And that's where we start to come into Tuesday. We know Wednesday, the big key data is coming out Wednesday onwards, and that's where it really goes from there. Dollar yen, also just coming back to support. It's just drifting back into line, and I'll adjust these trend lines in a second. And dollar CAD also, once again, oil 72.5. This last move has actually corrected those weak retail sales figures from Friday, and it's now towing the oil line once again. All right, so that's where we are. And the main thing of what you want to do now is get yourself set up, brush off if you've had any sort of loose trades. I mean, ended up getting stopped out here on Kiwi. Just a matter of redrawing these trend lines. Now, there's not much to do here. Aussie and Kiwi have already broken higher. The dollar yen that was also hitting that trend line is now, we've got a nice sort of support trend line here forming right where the cloud is. So make sure you are tuning up your charts correctly. So down through 110.89 could be a good opportunity on the dollar, even though the dollar is not doing a hell of a lot. It did rally. The dollar index itself rallied at the start of that North American session and just drifted off afterwards. Now, Euro, I would actually get rid of that trend line down the bottom there. If anything, if these trend lines are clouding your judgment, you need to get rid of them. This is the trend line I was looking for in Euro, around 118 to the 70 now, that resistance line. I'm still looking to get short Euro. If it hasn't happened by Wednesday, I'll wait for those Eurozone numbers. All right, and then obviously sterling, there's nothing really to do there except focus on that sort of 134.50. That's the good setup here with sterling is we've got this big trend line which has been moving with the pairs. If I just come back over here, get that pen back on. Okay, no pen. Let me just try that again. It should actually come back into line here. So that resistance trend line is also coinciding with that sort of flat horizontal level there at 134.5, which was like a triple bottom. that we could see an explosive move there to the top side or a continuation of the trend. And that's where the economic number is going to come into play. And that actually brings us across to what you need to be focusing on for today's trading activity. What we need to be doing is, sorry, let me just get that pen up, make it a bit easier. Okay, so the public sector net borrowing, this number here, this UK number, it's actually not as low impacting as this makes out. It actually is, it's a little bit of structured part of the market. So just keep an eye on that. I'd say it's probably at least level 2 data, not really low impacting. The wholesale trade figures I would have as lower impacting than what it's recognised there. I wouldn't get too caught up with the wholesale trade figures in Canada. I think it's more about oil, that next move. And as you can see, so in the Asian session, there's nothing. There's only a small little bit out of the UK, and even the US, there's not much coming out. So we've really got a pocket of trading. Once again, it's a little bit different to last week where we had that sort of voodoo trade day, but there isn't a hell of a lot to get overly excited about, right? The main thing is tune up your charts and have a look where the main parts of the market are. And that's what you really need to be sort of tuning yourself into. Now, if I just come back over here, just briefly to the US dollar, let me just change screens here. Okay, so just having a look at the US dollar. Now, obviously, this is where a lot of the activity is. You can see the situation here with the treasuries, right? They are sort of starting to drift. Now, back down here towards 305.96. We had that touch up here at 312. So the US 10-year treasuries are just drifting lower. And I would say that's enough to take the dollar lower. Now, that's going to come into play primarily because we don't have any US data coming out. So what the US dollar will do is it will stick to what it knows, and it's actually trading with the treasuries. I still suspect the US dollar is a buy down here, not too far lower. On stochastics as well, the dollar index is massively oversold, so you would expect that to bounce from this level. Now, that's the dollar. So that gives us some sort of direction over the course of the next 24 hours until we start to get some key data involved. Whoops, I've just actually deleted that chart. Let me just get that up. So just having a look at that. As I said, there's no major economic data out until Wednesday. So there's nothing really to do, right? Get your charts organised. You can't force these currencies around to produce the trading opportunities that you want when you want them. Okay, so just bear with it. This is one of those days that you're probably out of the equation and you are just waiting for certain things to fall into place. As it is today, we've got some sterling data later on. I think we do have a good opportunity here around this trend line as well with that data. Don't forget, we've got that triple bottom here at 134.5. I still like the idea of euro, selling euro back towards 118.60. Dollar CAD, you know, it's a little bit tricky at the moment, but if oil does continue to rally, there's still that opportunity on the downside here for a move lower. I'm starting to like the look of dollar yen, right? This is a bit of a dollar trade. I think we could see if the Asian market, the Japanese traders push this thing down through the cloud, we might see a decent clean out. The market's sitting long. In my eyes, they're sitting long dollar yen at this point. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for me. Not a hell of a lot to do. Relax, get your charts tuned up. Let's fine tune the the general sentiment and momentum of these currencies and sort of work it back towards those major key economic data releases, which once again, if I just clear that screen, you can start to see we're going to be a lot busier come Wednesday through the rest of the week. So take the time out now to relax, get some of the things you want to get done, and then come back to the markets. I'd say more often than not, tomorrow we'll have a lot more activity. All right, chaps, we'll catch you later on. Cheerio.